Tam O Shanter, A Tale by Robert Burns. When chapman billies leave the street and Dorothy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late and folk begin to tack the gate, while we sit boosing in the nappy and getting foo and unco happy, we think now on the lang Scots miles, the mossy's water slaps and styles, that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky, sullen dame, gathering her brows like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. This truth fun honest Tam O Shanter, as he frae air aye night did canter, old air wham near, a town surpasses for honest men and bonny lasses. O Tam, hadst thou been seen sae wise, as ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice? She told thee well thou was a skillum, a blether and blustering drunken blellum, that frae November till October, aye market day thou wasna sober, that ilka milder wi' the miller, thou sat as long as thou had siller, that every neg as cad a shoe on, the smith and the gate your roaring foo on, that at the Lord's house, even on Sunday, thou drank wi' Kurt and Jean till Monday. She prophesied that later soon that would be found deep drowned in Doon, or catched wi' warlocks in the mirk by Alloway's old haunted kirk. Ah, gentle dames, it gars me greet to think how many consols sweet, how many lengthed as sage devises, the husband from the wife despises. But her tale, aye, market night, Tam had got planted unco right, fast by an ingle, pleasing finely, wi' reaming swats that drank divinely. And at his elbow, Suitor Johnny, his ancient trusty, Dorothy Coroni. Tam lo'ed him like a very brother that had been full the weeks together. The night drive on wi' songs and clatter, and aye the ale was growing better. At landlady and Tam grew gracious, wi' favour secret, sweet and precious. The suitor told all his queerest stories, and the landlord's laugh was ready chorus. The storm, though without, might rear and rustle. Tam didna mind the storm a whistle. Care mad to see a man sae happy, Ian drooned himself amang the nappy, as bees fly hame wi' ladies of treasure, the minutes winged way wi' pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam is glorious, o'er the hills of life victorious. But pleasures are like poppies spread. You seize the flower, the bloom is shed, or like the snow falls in the river, a moment white that melts forever. Or like a borealis race, that flit ere you can point their place, or like the rainbow's lovely form, evanescing amid the storm. Nae man can tether time or tide, the hour approaches, Tam maun ride. That hour, o night, black arch the quay stane. The dreary hour he mounts his beast in, and sick a night he tacks the road in, as near poor sinner was abroad. The wind blew as 'twad blown at last, it rattled showers rose on the blast. The speedy gleams the darkness swallowed, loud, deep and lang the thunder bellowed. That night a child might understand, the deil had business on his hand. Wheel mounted on his grey mare Meg, a better never lifted leg. Tam skleppit on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whilst holding fast his guide blue bonnet, whilst crooning o'er some old Scots sonnet, whilst glowering round wi' prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. Kirkalloway was drawing nigh, where ghosts and howlets nightly cry. By this time he was crossed the ford, where in the snaw that chapman rode, and past the birks and meikle stane, where drunken Charlie braks neck bane, and through the winds and by the cairn, where hunters fond the murdered men, and near the thorn aboon the well, where Mungo's mother hanged herself. Before him Doon pours all his floods, and doubling storms roar through the woods. The lightning flashes frae pole to pole, near and more near the thunders roll. When glimmering through the groaning trees, Kirkalloway seemed in a blaze. Through ilka bore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing. Inspiring bold Jordan Barleycorn, what dangers thou canst make us scorn. We tippenny we fear nae evil, we Apsquay we face the deal. The Swatsea rim de damage noodle, fair play he cared nae deals a boodle. But Maggie stood right sair astonished, till by the heel and hand admonished, he ventured forward on the light and vow, Tam saw an uncle sight. Warlocks and witches in a dance, nae Cottelin, Brent, nae frae France, but hornpipes, jigs, strathspeys and reels put life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker in the east, there sat old Nick in shaple beast, a towsy tyke, black, grim and large, to gie them music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and gart them skirl, till roof and rafters added growl. Coffins stood around like open presses, they shod the dead in their last dresses, and by some devilish cantrip sleight, each in his cawed hand hold a light, by which heroic Tam was able to note upon the hally table a murderer's banes and gibbet erns, twa span laying wee unchristian bairns. A thief new cutted frae a rope, wi' his last gap they did a gape. 5 tomahawks wi' blood red trusted, 5 scimitars wi' murder crusted, a garter which a babe had strangled, a knife a father's throat had mangled, whom his ain son o' life bereft. The grey hairs yet stack to the heft, wi' mair a horrible and offer, which even the name would be unlawful. As Tammy glowered amazed and curious, his mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they set, they crossed, they clicked, till ilka carlin swat and wreck it, and cost their duddies to the work, and link it at in ersirk. Now Tam, oh Tam, had been queens, a plump and strapping in their teens, their sarks instead o' creashy flannin, been snow white 1700 linen. Their Greek breeks o' mine, my only pair, the ants were plush, a guide blue hair. I would ha' gi'en them off my hurdies for a blink of bonny birdies. But whether bedlams auld and droll, rigwoody hags wi' Spain a foal, louping and flinging on a crummock, I wonder didn't turn the stomach. But Tam kenned what with who brawly, there was a winsome wench and wowly, that night enlisted in the corps, lang after kenned a Carrick shore. For money a beast to dead she shot, and perished money a bonny bought. She shook baith Mecky, corn and bear, and held the countryside and fair. Her cutty shark o' Paisley harn, that while a lassie she had worn. In longitude thou scorely scanty, it was her best, she was vaunty. Ah, little kenned the reverend granny, the sark she coughed of her wee nanny. We 2 pond Scots, 'twas the riches, were there graced a dance o' witches. But here my muse her wing maun core, sick flights are far beyond her power, to sing how Nanny lap and flang, a supple jade she was and strang, and how Tam stood like ane bewitched, and thought his very een enriched. Even Satan glowered and fidgeted in fun, and hodged and blew wi' mighty and main, till aye first caper sang and nether, Tam tint his reason a' together, and roars, "Well done, cutty sark!" And in an instant all was dark, and scarcely had he Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legion sallied. As bees buzz out wi' angry fight, and plundering herds assailed their bike, and open pussy's mortal foes, and pop she starts before their nose. As eager runs the market crowd, when "Catch the thief!" resounds aloud. So Maggie runs, the witches follow, wi' Moni and Eldrick, Creech and Swallow. Aye, Tam, thou art get fern, in hell they'll roast like a hern. and vain thy Kate awaits thy coming. Kate soon will be a woeful woman. Now do thy speedy utmost, Meg, and win the keystane of the brig. There at them thy tail may toss, a running stream they dare nae cross. But ere the keystane she could make, a faint a tail as she had to shake, for Nanny far beyond rest, hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with furious ettle, and little twist she Maggie's mettle. Aye, spring brought off her master hail, but left behind her ain grey tail, and Callan caught her by the rump, and left poor Maggie scarce a stump. Now, all this tale of truth shall read, ilk man and mother's son take heed. When other drinks you are inclined, or cutty sarks run in your mind, think you may buy the joys o'er dear. Remember, Tam O Shanter's mare.